One of the planes missing there today was C-47, affectionately named the Goonie Bird by the men who flew it.
News 4's Stefan Holt spoke to one of those men who flew into action and history on D-Day.
Well, the picture was taken about 2 hours before we took off.
18 paratroopers, 5 crew members.
Stand beer with my big co-pilot, Doherty, Carly, my radio operator.
One last photo before an invasion that would turn the tide of World War II.
Had anxiousness. I don't think there was fear. I didn't have time to be scared.
And in the front row, a young pilot by the name of David Hamilton.
I was a first pilot on a Pathfinder C-47. I'm ready to bail, but I got no chute.
Hamilton is now 96 years old and spent part of his childhood in New York, a survivor of a fading generation.
Well, I'm the only one that I know of who's still alive in that picture.
In the dark of night and through enemy gunfire, Hamilton piloted the very first wave of airborne Pathfinders, ordered to secure the drop zones for 20,000 paratroopers still on the way.
And then the word would come, stand up and hook up, and that wire that goes down the center of the roof, snap on and check all the way to the door.
And his plane took a beating, riddled with more than 200 bullet holes.
This 27 millimeter blew the left wingtip off and hit my magnetos, sprayed my co-pilot with metal and glass.
Which is why Hamilton still holds a fondness for the Douglas C-47.
Good old Goonie Bird, no. Saved my life too many times.
It was actually the night before the seaborne invasion that the thundering roar of these C-47s sounded over the skies of occupied France. And now, 75 years later, that same sweet sound of liberation will ring out once again in the skies over Normandy.
At Oxford Airport in Connecticut, 15 of these restored Goonie Birds make up the D-Day squadron. They've come from all across the country to practice formation flying before hopscotching across the Atlantic to France.
We're starting up. We check everybody in on tactical.
New Yorker Eric Zipkin is leading this airborne history lesson.
We're a flight of 7 C-47s.
We're honoring our veterans. We're honoring those that fell in 1944. And we're also bringing this story to subsequent generations.
Their mission to commemorate the anniversary, ending with the largest parachute drop in Normandy since 1944, the last time many of these D-Day warbirds flew over France.
So when you take off every time, you kind of look around and you say, well, these rivets around me, they actually flew across the channel 75 years ago.
They were there.
They were there, exactly.
And while he won't be in the cockpit on this flight, Hamilton will be in Normandy for the 75th. His longevity, he says, thanks to good genes and lousy aim from German machine gunners. But he knows he doesn't have many of these anniversaries left.
Well, I'm 96 years old. I'm going to be 97 in July. And, you know, you can't live forever. I don't think the 80th, for instance, I wonder if there'll be anybody left who was actually involved in it. You just wonder. That's why I think the predominance of the emphasis is going into the 75th, as it should.
In Oxford, Connecticut, Stefan Holt, News 4 New York.
Thank you for watching this video from NBC4 New York. You can subscribe by tapping the button below me, and on the left you can see our latest updates, investigations, and digital exclusives. We'll see you next time.